Hello and welcome to another Bearded Geek toy review. In today's episode we're going to be doing something a little bit different. These series of specials are going to be celebrating the 60th anniversary of the world's longest running science fiction TV series. Yes, I am of course talking about Star Trek.
No, you idiots. Doctor Who, you fool. Doctor Who.
Oh, Doctor Who. Doctor Who, apparently. Doctor Who. Stay tuned.
That is the dematerializing control, and that over yonder is the horizontal hold. Up there is the scanner, those are the doors, that is the chair with the panda on it. Sheer poetry, dear boy. Now please stop bothering me.
Hello and welcome back to the channel. As I stated, we're going to do a series of specials basically celebrating the 60 years of Doctor Who, as this month is its 60th anniversary. The show first debuted on the 23rd of November 1963 and has virtually been on our TV screens ever since, with a couple of breaks here and there, mostly in the 1990s. What I want to do is, obviously, I'll give you a potted history about the show, but if you're watching this, you probably know all the trivia anyway. But I'll be making a tour of my Doctor Who collection, which is essentially the character options range that started in 2005 when the show came back successfully to BBC One with Christopher Eccleston and then with David Tennant. And then in 2006, Character Options launched a proper full action figure range. And then they introduced figures from the classic series from 1963 to 1989 in 2008. And then the ranges have kind of like melded together and they've been going ever since. Obviously, we have the recent B&M exclusives. So let's start where it all began, in a junkyard in Totters Lane on that fateful foggy night in November, as we meet the first Doctor, William Hart.
One day I shall come back. Yes, I shall come back. Until then, there must be no regrets, no tears, no anxieties. Just go forward in all your beliefs and prove to me that I am not mistaken in mine.
So here I have my first and second Doctor shelf with the figures that I've got on display. Obviously, as I said, there are some other figures that I do have, and some of those are in storage, so I won't probably be getting those out, or they're variants of like other figures that are already here. So obviously, you know, shelf space is limited. You can only kind of like put what you can fit on the actual shelves. But we'll start with the Governor himself, and that's William Hartnell there. Now, this figure was released in 2008 as a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive after the classic series then started to be declined by retailers. So it then became a series of convention and store exclusives, mainly with Forbidden Planet. Some of them were Toys R Us, but obviously that was how Character Options were able to get the figures out to people who were interested in collecting the range. So the first Doctor isn't really represented by a lot of figures. It's mainly Daleks and Cybermen, although recently, in the last 18 months or so, B&M have marvellously given us a couple of Sensorites who are there. There's one there, there's one on the Blu-ray shelf, and a Vord from the Keys of Marinus, as well as a First Doctor companion, which is Ian Chesterton, played by William Russell excellently. Great likeness of the actor there. But mainly it's been Daleks. So you've got two Dead Planet Daleks from the very first Dalek story, as they were referred to. You've got 3 Daleks from the Dalek Invasion of Earth, which, if I just lift these up, you'll be able to see their bases. Obviously, because they had those extended bases, and they had that strange radar dish on the back of them. I just hope none of these figures fall down. Excuse the dust as well, because obviously to dust these figures is absolute time-consuming thing. Here is the first Doctor TARDIS as seen in the David Bradley special, An Adventure in Space and Time, as well as Twice Upon a Time, which was Peter Capaldi's last episode, and then you got the David Bradley version of the first Doctor there. I really do like this version. It's a lot more accurate, screen accurate to the original FX first Doctor TARDIS, which I do have, which I'll show you a little bit later. And then you've got the 10th Planet Cybermen, which for me are probably the best figure for the first Doctor. They're absolutely fantastic. I love these two. They are really, really good. And obviously they made a reappearance in one of Peter Capaldi's final episodes as the 12th Doctor. But the Mondas version of the Cybermen are really, really creepy, and they're an absolutely fantastic design. And just look at the effort that Character Options put into that particular style of Cyberman. Really, really good.
And press the button. Press the button!
All right, there's no need to shout. Now go away and don't fuss me. Now come back, what's this? It's all right, I know.
You all right, Doctor?
Huh? Yes, it's there, in that building. The radio transmitter control. You've got to destroy it.
Leave it to us.
We don't want to frighten her. A smooth takeoff. A smooth takeoff.
To the second Doctor era, and again, the Patrick Troughton figure was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. And then mainly what we have again here is there are some Daleks. I've got an Evil of the Daleks Dalek at the back there, and there is another Evil of the Daleks set from the Toys R Us 2013 Doctor Dalek sets, which I did a separate video on quite some time ago, which you'll be able to find. We've then got two Ice Warriors, which are excellent, great figures. We've then got a couple of Invasion-style Cybermen. And then we have two Telos-style Cybermen from Tomb of the Cybermen, as well as a Cyber Controller. Now, interestingly, the Cyber Controller was a Build-A-Figure, which actually came with a mini Cyberman wave, which was called the Age of Steel wave, which, as far as I remember, I think was exclusive to Argos. So what you did, you bought the Telos Cyberman, the 10th Planet Cyberman, the Invasion-style Cyberman, and then a new series-style Cyberman. And then those four figures all came with parts for the Cyber Controller there. So he was actually a Build-A-Figure. Then you've got Patrick Troughton himself. That's the original release. And obviously we've had several versions of him with his faithful recorder. And then even though it was technically a 70s version of the Brigadier that was released, I have put him in the second Doctor display because that unit-style uniform that they wore in Season 7, which was John Pertwee's first season, effectively made its debut in the Invasion, I'll say that again, which was the Patrick Troughton episode that obviously introduced these two style Cybermen, and obviously kind of like introduced the unit concept for the following year, which kind of like a bit of a reboot for the series. So there we have the first and second Doctors.
Your appearance has changed before, it will change again, and that is part of the sentence.
You can't just change what I look like without consulting me.
You will have an opportunity to choose your appearance.
Oh, well, that's not so bad.
Before we move on to the third Doctor era, here's just a few extra figures from the first and second Doctor's era. Now here you've got the Chase Daleks as well as a Mechanoid, which were released. Now those three were released in a Chase set, which was exclusive to Forbidden Planet. The variant Dalek was a FX Sound Dalek, which I'm not too sure if he still works. No, I've just tried him, and these the batteries have gone in that one, so unfortunately. Now, you'll see that obviously his colours are different because he was actually a prop that was loaned from the movie that was in production at the time, which means that obviously we also got these two movie-style Daleks, which are probably my two favourite Daleks there from the classic series from that era, because of the legal loophole that they were actually borrowed by the TV production and used in the TV series. It meant that character options could do a figure or two of these movie style Daleks, because otherwise the movie Daleks license does lie with somebody else. And the final figures from the black and white era, here are the other two Vord and Sensorite figures that B&M produced. And then all the way down here, just because I haven't got any space for him on the shelf, is the FX Second Doctor TARDIS, as well as the Doctor there in his big woolly coat from the Abominable Snowman. And as you'll notice, that obviously the panel there, which gives you the description of a pull to open, is on the wrong side, because that was obviously how it appeared in a couple of stories during season 5 in Patrick Troughton's time.
Flexible enough. Could be useful on the planet Delphon, where they communicate with their eyebrows.
Stop being childish.
What's wrong with being childish? I like being childish.
Yes. Well, if I say so myself, I think that's a remarkably efficient piece of work.
So moving into a blaze of colour with the 1970s, and we've got the John Pertwee Third Doctor era. And this is my little shelf here showing the Third Doctor era, mainly dominated by units, and obviously a nice mixture of Daleks and other monsters from that era. You'll notice that there's a lack of Cybermen, because John Pertwee's Doctor never met the Cybermen on screen until the 20th anniversary special, The Five Doctors. So again, the first figure that was released from the Third Doctor range was obviously him from the Sea Devils. They've got him there, and again that was another San Diego Comic Con exclusive, which was then also shared with Forbidden Planet, and that came with a Sea Devil in a twin pack. So obviously you could have that figure there, and I believe it was that Sea Devil that it came with. The darker one was then released a bit later, the darker skinned one. You've also got obviously the TARDIS, which was a B&M exclusive from I think 2019, which came with this version of the Doctor in his red jacket. You've got the unit set, which was one of the very first figure sets I reviewed on this channel when I launched it way back in 2020. So obviously you've got the Brigadier there, you've got Mike Yates and Sergeant Benton, and obviously Joe Grant is there in the background figure, and that's from a Three Doctors set, which included this Gel Guard who's in the background there. And then we've got Omega here. Now Omega is, I think this is probably the best figure that they did for the Third Doctor range. I just love the detail on that. And yes, his head does pop off to reveal absolutely nothing, which I'm not going to do right here, but a rare instance of soft goods there on a figure, just purely to give obviously the proper regal look for Omega. And he shares the space obviously in the back there with the Gel Guard and two Autons. One of these was part of the B&M range, and then this one I think was in an Enemies of the Third Doctor set, which was exclusive to Forbidden Planet. We also have, obviously, the Gold Dalek, which was recently re-released with B&M. More accurate colours. You've got the Supreme Dalek from Planet of the Daleks. You've got Lynx, the Sontaran. You've got a couple of maggots there from the Green Death. And then in the background you have the Master's TARDIS, the computer databank, which I'll just try and prise up here, which is there, which came with the Time Monster version of Roger Delgado's Master. And that, again, was a brilliant facial sculpt. Absolutely amazing. They really did pull out all the stops there for the sculpt.
Well, he used to be a friend of mine once. A very good friend. In fact, you might almost say we were at school together.
The Master has learnt a great deal since you last met him.
You'll do nothing, or I'll put a bullet through both your hearts.
And finally, in the then background, you've got the Axon in his monster phase, and then you've got an Axon figure here. And then you've got Ice Warrior, and then you've got two silver Daleks, silver and black Daleks, which I'll just zoom in so you can see them in a little bit more detail. There you go. And there's the third Doctor era. Now, obviously, John Pertwee was, at the time, the longest reigning Doctor. He did 5 full seasons from 1970 to 1974, and then decided to throw his sonic screwdriver and TARDIS key back in the ring, and then the 4th Doctor was on his way. But more on him in the next video. But for the meantime, there's the 3rd Doctor era in figure form. Well, I hope you liked that video, and if you did, then please leave us a like. It really does help out the channel. And also, if you've not yet hit that subscribe button or the notification bell, please do so to get notified whenever we upload any brand new videos. The next video in our Doctor Who anniversary series will focus on the 4th Doctor, the 5th Doctor, and the 6th and 7th Doctors. So stay tuned for that. And in the meantime, take care, stay safe, and we will see you very, very soon.
Yes, it all started out as a mild curiosity in the junkyard. And now it's turned out to be quite a great spirit of adventure, don't you think? Our lives are important, at least to us. And as we see, so we learn.
And what are we going to see and learn next, Doctor?
But unlike the old age, my boy, our destiny is in the stars. So let's go and search for it.